Good morning everyone, welcome to a new update of me, Crypto Michael, and we're going to discuss the markets on this very important day as Biden is becoming the president of the United States, which could cause some short-term volatility. But before we're going to discuss this short-term volatility, I would heavily argue to become a subscriber on this channel and follow me on Instagram. Today we're going to discuss the crucial levels for Bitcoin and Ethereum in general. We have been discussing Ethereum over and over again through the previous weeks, and we're going to do that again as the FOMO is significant in the markets right now. The majority of the people are eager to buy Ethereum at 1400 and they are not interested in Ether at 900 as they are currently expecting the price of Ether to just continue running without any heavy correction at all. And that is bollocks. The price of Ether broke out yesterday, but the breakout is not as significant as we wanted it to be. And higher time frames, as we can see here, are looking like we are topping out quite soon. Very vertical move, very strong move, but the recent breakout is not showing the volume that we want it to be showing. And that's why we're going to define the crucial levels to watch. If those crucial levels do not hold as support, we are likely to see a breakdown again and another range-bound construction. When did we see further fake outs to the upside? Well, if we go back in history and we discuss anything that we have seen as a breakout historically, we can see that we've had it over and over again. So for once, we did see a similar construction during the summer of 2019. It was the summer where Bitcoin rallied towards 14k, right? Ether made a breakout as well, but we can see that the previous high here has to remain support in order to sustain the upwards momentum. Given that this support could not hold, downwards breakout, and actually we went towards a level further, which is this block here. Very likely case that we're going to experience a similar case at this point, as right now we are making a breakout which is not as confident or as strong as we want it to be. So if we go back further in the history, we can see that we had those breakouts here as well. In this case, we actually held on to the previous resistance zone, and from there we made a construction of compression and a heavy breakout occurred, which was during the summer of 2020. Then during the summer of 2020, we did see some of those fake outs, after which we were constructing a sideways range. And in this case, we did see a fake out, support held, another fake out, and breakthrough below support, as this support has been tested several times. In this case, we also see that we're just constantly holding support in general. So we can construct or can discuss what could be happening in this case. So first scenario is that we're just going to hold above this recent high. So we already know that the red block here around 1280 is the critical level for Ethereum to hold. As long as that holds, we could continue running, and given that we have instructed Fibonacci analysis on this one, we might be hitting 1600 quite soon, which is about 15% higher from here. However, if 1280 is lost, this could trigger a chain reaction to the price action of Ether in itself. And given that we have this historical price action here in which we just rest on support, here we are also resting on support. In this case we lost the support. The first actual level that we're going to watch on this one is this range here around 1060. So if we do lose 1280, the next level to watch is this 1080 area, as that is the, let's say, order block area or support that we have to construct support on to sustain the upwards momentum, to sustain the higher low, higher high construction. If that is lost, in the worst case, we're going to look at 9 and maybe even 760, but that would probably be lining up with a very heavy correction on Bitcoin towards 25k and towards the 21 weekly MA. So the critical levels for Ethereum are 1280. If that is lost, we're going to look at that 1050 area, the order block that we constructed here. If that is lost, we're going to look at 9 and maybe even 750. If 1280 holds, we could continue grinding, and then we might hit 1600. But given that we've just witnessed a very weak breakout, to be honest, with less volume is weakening, we might be getting close towards the temporary top on the majors, on the large caps, in which we are going to make some consolidation and correction, which is very healthy. We've just witnessed a very strong market for the past month. Bitcoin has been doing well. Bitcoin is eager for a correction as well, or consolidation in general. Ethereum did well, went up more than 2x. Polkadot did well. Cosmos did well. Chainlink, everything did very well. And usually the first quarter of the year is fine for the large caps. And then a sustained period of correction occurs. And I think given the momentum that we have on the altcoins right now, it seems not inevitable that we're going to have such a slight correction. And those corrections are not for selling. Those corrections are actually granting you opportunities to get into the market at a pretty much discounted price. But hey, if we still hold 1280, everything is fine and we could continue running. Then if we look at the ETH Bitcoin chart, we can see that we actually have that bullish construction, right? So we do have this bullish construction, which we have discussed. Higher lows constantly, higher highs. And currently we are facing range resistance, which is less likely to be breaking. And I was actually expecting us to reject that 0.33, after which we are going to have a sideways construction in which we are acting. So right now what we are going to construct here is that we most likely get a range bound construction still, but on a higher floor. So what we do have is that we've got these higher lows, and now we are facing range rejection or range resistance, in which the very likely case is that we're going to have this sideways construction, build up compression, have some sideways period in which Bitcoin is also consolidating, and then the next breaker of Ethereum Bitcoin will be from 0.32 sats to possibly 0.56, but most likely 0.8, and that would cause the Ethereum price to excel very fast. And given that this strength will come from the Bitcoin pairs during very much a calm period on Bitcoin in itself, I think that will be the real alt season at a little later stage in this year. But I do not expect ETH Bitcoin to break out at this point. I think we have just witnessed a very nice breaker on ETH Bitcoin in itself, in which we have to test some lower levels. So the levels to watch for ETH Bitcoin is 0.344 and 0.32 to 0.31 sats, in which we're probably just going to consolidate. We might still take the high here, but overall I would definitely argue to not take too high of positions at this point, given the fact that everything is just calming down and given the fact that we've just witnessed very strong moves. Bitcoin USD, we have been discussing this on the previous shows, in which the critical levels was 34k. 34k is being held as support. However, you want to see a clear breaker above 36.5, and now you actually want to see it above 37.5. We do reject at those levels, so we do get a range bound construction. However, we have been testing this support for 3 times now already. So if we can't break towards 36.7 and in the best case 37.4, and we test support again, the likelihood of falling down is significant. And given that that likelihood of falling down comes here or is increasing, we might be taking the lows below the 30k level, in which we get a correction of 15%, causing altcoins to correct a little as well. So the level to watch for Bitcoin in itself is this range around 34.5. On the upside, definitely the range resistance at 37.6 has to break. If that breaks, we might be taking the liquidity above 40 to 42k. But at this point we are range bound and are slightly more likely to have that correction, as I've just discussed on Ether as well. I hope you have enjoyed this small video. I'll be back tomorrow with a new update, and have a great day, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.